Attempt number 2. Hey, this is Jeff from the Suns and Shadows podcast. I have my first physical media review of a Blu-ray I've picked up recently. Well, not so much picked up recently. I did an Indiegogo campaign for The Barn Part 2, and I supported the first campaign, and I was very pleased with that release. And Scream Team Releasing puts out the Blu-rays and the physical media. They have a really nice little website too, so if you're looking for some merch and other low budget independent films that I totally support, we all support here on the podcast, but they're a lot of fun. If you are looking for kind of a nutshell of what Scream Team Releasing is, they're what I get called the new Full Moon from the 80s and the 90s. Well, more the 90s, like the Puppet Master series, the Subspecies series, Trancers. If you go to screamteamreleasing.com and actually check out, they got quite a few variety of films. I have an affinity for the horror ones, but I just recently picked up the 13 Slays of Christmas, and I have a few in the collection, like The Sleeper. I have 1031, the anthology series. I backed that as well. I also like I'm Dreaming of White Doomsday, which is an excellent Christmas movie. It's a bit nihilistic, so if you like your movies dark and twisted, or even interesting like Murder Made Easy, which is a nice little murder mystery. So, hey, check out Scream Team Releasing. I think they're fantastic. Not all the movies land, but like quite a few are even just fun to just check out. So if you go to their website, you want to check some of them out, take a look around. You might find something that's right up your alley because they got sci-fi, horror, mystery, a little bit of everything. So I'm pretty pleased. I don't have their entire catalog of everything they've put out, but I've got quite a few. Now, since I backed the Indiegogo for the barn, when I got this, I couldn't resist checking it out. It's got a very nice slipcover. I'll show that up front here. Hopefully that's in frame. I'm working with my phone camera. And on the back, you've got Darcy the Mail Girl at the bottom. So if you're a Last Drive-In fan with Joe Bob, and yes, Joe Bob is in this movie too, blink, you miss it. But it's pretty well teased throughout the movie because they keep cluing in that there's a drive-in movie marathon going on, which is a lot of fun. Now, if you know about the first barn, you can gloss over what I'm about to say, but the first barn is basically like a campfire story where there's a haunted barn, and if you do something right or something wrong, per se, then the three main spirits, the entities that reside in the barn, they come alive and start creating chaos. And the second one picks up right from the first story. I'm not going to get too much into the story because I think it's better to discover, like Full Moon titles were. Like, you hear Puppet Master, you hear Demonic Toys, you hear Trancers. You're like, what the hell is that all about? That sounds like pretty interesting titles. Well, the barn is just like that. It's definitely set for Halloween, and it's set in the late 80s, early 90s. And it definitely has that vibe to it. And, I know I just showed off the slipcover, but this is a very nice glossy slipcover. It's not as thin as some others, say like Mill Creek. It's got a nice little thickness to it, but it's not like a Vinegar Syndrome. But it's got a very nice spine going on. On each side, it's a replica of the VHS style. And it definitely has the VHS outer slip like others do as well. And then, since I got this from Indiegogo and I elected to have the signatures done, I got some signatures on the front. And I don't think I got any on the back, but if you go to Scream Team Releasing, you can still get some of the signatures. Some are Joe Bob and Darcy. Some are just the cast and crew. You might want to check the options when you go to your drop-down menu. That way you can check out what you're willing to pay for. But you can get this off of Amazon. Not saying you can't go there and get, just the movie and just check it out. But if you would like to partake in some of the signatures, definitely go to Scream Team Releasing for their website to get those options. Their movies do vary. Some of them have drop downs, so keep an eye out for that. So if you see something you like or might like, make sure you hit that drop down and see what the price is. As far as I was looking, because I just picked up a few things recently from Scream Team Releasing, it's well worth the money. It's just a few extra dollars. And, I fully support this crew. And I think that this is a fantastic movie. And you got quite a few good. Now, I'll go a little bit more story before I finish the review here. But there's a lot of great cameos, some really good casting going on. And I love Linnea Quigley in this. She's fantastic. She's even better in the second one. Ari Lehman as the disc jockey, as the DJ. He's hilarious. I love him even more in this one. He's got more to do. In the first one, he's just kind of a bit cameo, but I totally love it anyway. And the practical effects design, the costume design, everything is amazing. The gore is even better in this one. This is what you want out of a sequel, where you want bigger and better and more of it. The first one's a little bit more of an intimate movie with a little bit more intimate nature, but it still brings the gore, the fun. Yes, it's an independent movie, but that sense of fun and enjoyment cannot be replicated. That's something that Full Moon, I feel, in time has lost. Their older movies are way more timeless now. So you got the definite cult classics, Scream Team releasing, and this crew, they are totally bringing the funness, because even looking at the back, it's won some awards. Like, it's been to Days of the Dead Film Festival, Nightmares Film Fest, Genre Blast. So it's got quite a realm of versatility to it. And I couldn't recommend this movie more if you're into independent films and you know what you're getting with those, but the writing is top notch. Now we'll go ahead and we'll start getting into the review. And on the inside, they have a Tape Deck Video membership card. If you've seen the movie, they have a VHS store that they do for a little bit of the movie. It's really fun, and they really decked it out. It's of the smaller variety, so don't expect like blockbuster-sized video store in the movie. That's just not it. It's more of a mom and pop's shop. And I grew up with that, so it definitely has that great feel to it. And while you're watching the movie, it does have a little bit of a film grain over it, so it feels like you're watching something out of the 90s. The picture quality is fine, but there is a filter over it, so it makes it feel like it's a little older. So don't be surprised that this is not like crystal clear 4K. You can spot pores on the beast from like 9 miles away. This is not that. This is done for special effect and for the narration and the film itself. I think it's outstanding. It totally gives me vibes of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. Totally love it. But there is a reversible slip, not slip, the reversible cover art. So that's the reversible cover art. And then this was the front. This is more in line with the very first release, which I have over here as well. And I'll show you exactly why I'm pulling that copy out. But so you can kind of match this up as you like. I'm having it where the autographs are facing out because of the wonderful slip cover I could get this time around. And on the inside, you got some fun discs. You got the main Blu-ray. You got the DVD. And you get the soundtrack. So soundtrack, DVD, and Blu-ray. I like the 3-disc case. It's not so thick like a Criterion case. So if you didn't want the slipcover, you don't mind it, or you want to put it away, it'll fit up onto the shelf, no problem. Just like a standard case. So it's pretty close. And so I'm going to slip that right back. And now the audio, it's pretty good. I don't have my stereo surround setup out here. We have it out in the living room, but not in my main movie room. But I watched it off just the TV speakers. The sound is pretty good. Now, I would like to experience the surround, see how well that really performs. So I can't really testify to that. I'm sorry about that. But, just based off of TV surround and mimicking surround, because I got a pretty good Samsung here that will replicate surround pretty decently, as I watch a lot of my I play a lot of my games. And I watch a lot of my movies and shows in here, like we're watching Hannibal. And sound is great. So I'm pretty pleased, but I still want to experience the surround sound, see how well it kicks going around the room. And because I'm a nut and I was on Scream Team Releasing recently, I went ahead and I picked up the slipcover for the first barn, which is like $5. So if you go on their website and you have this movie, you can actually go back and pick up the slipcover. And I'll show this up close here. Upside down. But it replicates the VHS style of the second one. And so I am really pleased. Now I can be a little OCD. I'm not the biggest slipcover guy. I do like my steelbooks. There's about 2 slipcovers for things I would love that I don't have, and a bunch of slipcovers I could care less about, and I would be happy to give them away. One of them, just for letting everybody know, I'm looking for Hannibal Season 1 on Blu-ray. If you got a slipcover, I would totally love it. And I'm also looking for The Expanse Season 1 Blu-ray cover. I know TV shows, this is a horror movie. But Scream Team Releasing, you bad boys got it delivered. Now this first one only came with like because they did might as well just talk about it. It only comes with the initial Blu-ray. I came in late on the Indiegogo, so I only picked up the Blu-ray on the back end on that one. And then on the second one, I actually partook in the full campaign, so I got this sweet stuff going on, and I got like the digital soundtrack, so I have the extra soundtrack, so this has a little bit of weight to it. Hey, these are great releases. I cannot sing the praises of Scream Team Releasing enough. If you're an independent film fan and you like your horror movies, hey, if you've heard the Full Moon name, I know I keep saying it. This is the new Full Moon. I highly recommend going to check them out. Hey, if I'm going to rate this thing on a scale of 1 to 5 for a release, I'm going to give it a 4. The only thing I think I might have liked more is a little bit of a thicker slipcover, kind of a little more like Vinegar Syndrome with a little embossing. They could have done some embossing with this. I don't think it's really necessary. It's just me doing a nitpick. And if there was a nitpick about the movie is I feel like it's about 5 minutes a little long. However, the movie overall does not feel long. It's very well paced. It's got a good story. It takes the secondary characters from the first movie and amps them up for the second. There's a bunch of great comebacks in the second one, so there's some great callbacks to the first movie, and it really delves into the history and gives you a little bit more background. Hey, first 5 minutes of the movie, if you're not digging it, you'll never dig this movie. So check it out wherever you can. I highly recommend both these releases. And hey, what else can I say? I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. It's a great release, great swag. Hey, pick it up Amazon, go to Scream Team Releasing, get some signatures, get some fun swag while you're at it. All right. Thank you for tuning in to my first physical media review. I am Jeff, and thank you. We'll see you on the next round. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at sunsandshadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.